China more than China needs us?
False. China has an economy which is geared to selling things to the United States. Last year, 140% of China's overall trade surplus related to sales to the United States. That's up over the last couple years. You know, this is an incredible number, and it just shows the leverage that we have and the leverage that we're not using.
Okay, we always have this, or it seems people have in their mind, there's this us against China. That's the enemy in some way, at least a rival. So are we really more so rivals or partners?
You know, we're, of course, as people say, a little bit of both. You know, it's really a question of not the way we see it, because we have a conception of the world, you know, one big international community, all trying to work together. The Chinese have a different perception of reality. They see themselves as against their neighbors, and also they're very concerned about the United States, and they do think in zero-sum terms.
All right, I mean, we're talking so much about this visit. We're going to see a lot of pomp and circumstance, or are we going to see substance? What is an American family going to get out of this visit, this conversation with this Chinese president?
I think there's very little substance on this trip. The Chinese are coming here because they want the televised images of the 21-gun salute and the state dinner, because they want to show America's respect for the Communist Party. Last Friday at the White House briefing, Thomas Donilon, the National Security Advisor, said that there might not even be a post-summit communique. That just shows how far apart we are from China. Now, I think we actually will come up with a document, because not to do so would be a debacle. But, you know, it just, right now, the relations are really not very good.
Okay, I want to back you up there for a second, because that might have just gone past some of our viewers, because we don't talk in these diplomatic terms all the time. Not to have a post-summit communique. How big of a deal is that when it comes to traditionally what happens after some of these big summits?
That's huge, because after the November 2009 summit, where President Obama went to Beijing, we produced a 4,223-word joint statement that was comprehensive on every issue that you can think of. You know, this time, you know, we may not be able to mention more than 10 words of agreement. That, I think, is an enormous story.
How desperately does, and you hit on this a bit ago, but explain to folks, we always say, they're our debtor, they're our banker, we hear that all the time, they own so much, $900 billion in American treasuries, but they need us pretty desperately.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't have an economy were it not for the United States market. You know, the Chinese, they talk about this, or we talk about this debt weapon that they hold over us. Well, the Chinese, since August 2007, call it the nuclear option, which is dumping treasuries in the market to hurt us. They never do it because they know it won't work, and it won't work because of the way the global markets operate. So, you know, this is not really a weapon. We're the only people in the world who know that it doesn't work.
How offensive, and on this visit here, last question, it's always this talk about the currency manipulation by the Chinese. How offensive is it to the Chinese to hear some senators now talking about calling China a currency, officially calling them a currency manipulator?
Well, this is really important for them, but Premier Wen Jiabao, the top economic officer in China, said that countless Chinese enterprises would go out of business if China allowed its currency to float. That just shows how important an issue it is to them.
We have big issues, Gordon Chang, but as you told me a moment ago, this is going to be more style than substance, but maybe there will be some substance that does come out of it as well. Always good to talk to you. Thanks so much for coming in. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right, here.
Well, Hollywood sweetheart Betty White turned 89 yesterday.